I know Bernie Sanders said that, quote, the American people are sick and tired of hearing about your damn emails. But there are a lot of people who are not.
Well.
Including FBI officials. Why wouldn't you anticipate that something classified, whether about North Korea or Iran or drones or an informant for the CIA, that it wouldn't be emailed to you? And why wouldn't you consider that having it on your personal account with some server in Colorado might be a potential risk?
Well, first of all, nothing, and I will underscore, nothing that I was sent or that I sent was marked classified.
The Inspector General of the intelligence community said that some of the stuff contained classified information when it was generated, whether or not it was marked classified.
Well, that is just a very strong difference of opinion. The State Department does not agree with that.
We'll start there. Hillary Clinton talking to Jake Tapper on CNN ahead of testimony this next week in front of the Benghazi Select Committee about Benghazi and emails. We're back with the panel, and you cover this campaign, her performance in that interview, and what you took out of it.
Well, she was really doubling down on her main talking points on the email issue. Some of them are not quite correct. She says one of her predecessors did the same thing, and other government officials have done the same thing. Yes, lots of other people have used AOL or Gmail accounts. She's referring to Colin Powell there, who had an AOL account. He did not do the same thing. He did not have a completely separate and privately owned system maintained in parallel to the one that the State Department used. That is not the same thing. But she keeps saying that, and she is expected to continue to say some of these same points to the extent that they are part of the Benghazi testimony next week. Her larger point, though, is that what she did in setting up the system the way it was set up and maintaining it was sort of unremarkable. And, I mean, I think we can all say, since nobody else ever had one of these things, and in some respects it is remarkable, or at the very least unorthodox. But her point is, look, I mean, everybody uses Gmail. You know, we all pass information back and forth through a variety of means, and nothing that was passed in any form of email to her was marked classified at the time. Technically correct, but not really the whole story.
Exactly. Which is why, Steve, the White House had to walk back the president's comments to 60 Minutes, saying it wasn't a national security threat as this FBI investigation continues. And the FBI, some people privately, are saying that made them pretty upset.
Well, they should be upset. I think the president got way ahead of the evidence that we have, and that's precisely what the investigation is seeking to find out. Look, I think her marked classified argument is a bogus argument. Of course it wasn't marked classified. The very nature of her private system meant that that kind of information wasn't being processed by the people who would classify it. So, of course, it wasn't marked classified. That was one thing that stood out to me in this interview. The other thing was her repeated reliance on the ARB, this State Department review of what happened in Benghazi. It's important to remember that the leaders of that panel were handpicked by Hillary Clinton. They didn't have her emails, they didn't interview her, and they provided draft copies of the report to her chief of staff before it was made public. That's not really an independent board, but I guarantee she'll use it as a shield when she appears before Congress next week.
All right, quickly, Biden in or out?
I was saying all along he'd get in, but I think he'd be crazy to get in now.
I don't think he gets in now, but I think he waits a little while so it doesn't appear that the Hillary debate performance is the instigating factor.
Yeah, I've been skeptical all along. There are new reports just this afternoon that suggest that he's inching towards an entry later this week.
There are lots of reports all over the place. All right, Steve, winners and losers.
So my winner is Iran. We didn't get to it in the first panel, but I think the kind of answer that the president gave on Iran today, where he sort of shrugged off their ballistic missile test, signals to Iran that they have free rein to do what they want. My loser was Lincoln Chafee, who defended his controversial votes in Congress by using an argument that I don't even let my kids use, which is everybody else was doing it. It was a poor argument and one of the poorest debate performances I can remember.
Winner then loser, Ann?
Winners, this is FEC week. We had fundraising reports. Winners were Democrats in general, with 60 million roughly on hand, a split between Hillary and Bernie. That is almost exactly the same figure, 61 million, that for the entire 15-member Republican field. Yes, there are a lot of caveats here. Donald Trump has plenty of money that doesn't have to have anything to do with the FEC. But it really shows you that there's some fundraising is diffuse and problematic on the Republican side and relatively steady on the Democratic side. Loser is Jeb Bush with 13.4 million on hand, a middling performance for the former front runner, and sort of confirmatory that he is now in the middle of the pack.
Winner and loser?
A loser would have been Lincoln Chafee, but he was a nowhere man to start with, so it's Jim Webb. Winner is Hillary. She was handed the nomination when Sanders said, we're sick and tired of the damn emails. Case closed. She gets out of jail free.
So your column on that very point. That's it for the panel.